Hell yeah. This music gets you amped, right? Like, you can feel that. Oh, fuck yeah. All right, welcome back to another episode of On the Throne with Dick. And, shout out to Senjin Boychuk for that amazing intro song. Once again, like, just fantastic. Way better than, the stock sounds and stuff like that. So, yeah. I have special guest today, Torque Girl, Kennedy, a.k.a. Torque Girl, and she's coming at us between two ferns.
What's up, Dick? Thanks for having me on.
Hey, how's it going? Okay, we're going to bring it up many times. Look at those pipes, right? Like,
Oh my God.
oh my God. When I first saw you pop up my FYP and stuff like that, and you kept coming up and I was watching, it might have been toxic masculinity. I don't know. But I was like, man, I am not following her. Look at those arms. She's going to kill me.
Put you to
Right. And
shame.
then put me to shame, right? Just like, look at me. Right. And then I'm like, fuck it, follow. Because you kept popping up. So I'm like, fuck it. Why not?
I love it. You can't be a hater, man. Can't be a hater.
Definitely not. Definitely not. How you been? What's the new?
Good.
How's it going?
Things are going good. Busy with work. Patch is back, baby. Gotta love that.
Patch is back. Amen to that. What a long 7 years that was. Holy shit.
I'm new to it, so I can't relate to that, but I'm happy it's back regardless. How have you been?
New?
You're on days off?
No, right now I'm in camp. I'm in camp. There's where the magic happens and
Looking good.
And little tiny TV, and the light, and the shelf there, the typical camp room.
It's looking good, man.
Yeah. How long you been in the patch for?
It's a year and a half now. Time's going by pretty quick, but I'm still fresh. I'm still green as grass.
Oh, hey, I'm 12 years in, and I'm still learning every day, right? That's just how she goes. And I had a boss a few years ago that said, the day you stop learning, the day you come to work and you stop learning, is the day you pack your shit and you leave.
Mm-hmm.
So,
it's changing every day too. Even the way people treat each other is changing every day, which is a good thing.
It is in a way. In a way, it is. I was baptized in fire, right? I was yelled at and screamed at and called every name in the book. And it, in a way, it's good that it's not like that. And in a way, it's kind of like, hey, I learned a lot about myself, what I could handle. And if I can't handle being yelled at, how am I going to handle a 30-hour day on site covered in shit? You know what I mean? It doesn't excuse that behavior, though. It's good. It's changing.
No, I find lately, especially since the longer I've been on in the patch, the more I've noticed things are slowing down a lot in terms of people's speed. Nobody has a sense of urgency anymore. And now, since you can't yell at anybody, or since you can't even light a little fire under their ass, there's no sense of urgency. People just kind of meander around and slowly get to where they need to go. Nobody can really swing a hammer anymore. It's a little bit frustrating, especially for me being a service hand and I show up to location and I have to wait around for 8 hours because people are moving slow.
Heyo, backhand right here. You know what I mean? When we're backing that truck in, before the truck is even stopped, the door's open and I'm already climbing down the steps. Right? Like, hey, I gotta get these hoses off this deck. I gotta rig them in and get ready. Right? And as I'm doing that, you often find like, hey, man, you take your time. We'll get you when we need you. And it's like, bro, I'm already rigged in by the time you're needing me. Right? Like, I'm rigged in for hours before you call me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's insane.
Even like with training people, I've been in the situation where I've had to train a lot of people. And I find, like, let's say we go and get gas. It's nobody hops out with me to like offer to pump for me. Nobody's offering to do that extra little step that I would expect a trainee to offer to do or want to do. Nobody's going that extra mile to even want to learn or even want to do things. It's getting quite frustrating. And like, I've only been doing this for a year and a half, and I'm noticing how I don't know if it's unmotivation or what it is, but people just don't want to do more than what they have to, I think.
It's true. No one wants to go above and beyond, right?
No, not at all. No gold stars given out.
No, and there's a reason for that. There is, you know what I mean? Over the last 7 years, companies shit all over us, right? We were, the patch wasn't busy, and they took advantage of that. They shit all over us, right? So now
Mhm.
it's like, hey, now it's busy. You need us. Guess what? I'm gonna do me. I'm gonna take my time. I'm gonna do it when I'm ready to do it, and ain't nothing you can do about it because I'm here. And good luck getting another guy in, right? Because no one wants to work.
You
There's
know,
It's hard to find guys, right? So
I
I,
hear
I get it in a
that.
way, but
I hear that all the time that nobody wants to work. But where are the
there
workers?
you go.
Like,
We're back.
what are they doing? Are we
What's that?
frozen? Are we
No, we're
frozen?
not frozen now. We're not frozen now. No, it did freeze a little bit.
Okay, so I was saying, I was like, you said that nobody wants to work anymore. And like, I agree with that statement, but where are the people? Where are the people like 10 years ago? Where did everybody go? Where are people working these days? What are people doing?
We have that conversation a lot, and it's easy, right? When the pandemic hit, a lot of people discovered that I don't need to make that kind of money anymore. They got into it when they were younger. They needed to make the money. They needed to prove themselves. They had a family. They needed support. Pandemic comes along, and they're like, I can survive off less. Why am I leaving home? Why am I putting myself through these conditions to essentially not further myself in a and the ups and downs too, right? When the patch takes a dump, it takes a dump, and the strong survive. If you're holding on when at the end of that, good for you. But if you get tired of holding on, hey man, like a lot of people, after that last one that we just came out of there, we lost a lot of good people because people were just tired of it. This is their second or third downturn now, right? That was my second. So and my mentality is I'm here for one more. You know what I mean? I'll come back for one more. This 5 to 6 years of holding on tight, make all the money you can, get the hell out, because when that next one comes, and it will come,
It's going to
right?
come
Like,
hard.
do I want to lose? Do I want to basically start all over again, right? Because I lost $10 an hour over the course of 7 years just to stay busy. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Just so I could keep making those payments. And a lot changed during that 7 years though. When I went into that downturn, I had no kids. When I come out of it, I got two. So
Kids are expensive.
yeah, they certainly are. Where are you from originally?
Born and raised in Nova Scotia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then I moved out to Alberta when I turned 19, and I'm 26 now, and I have never been back.
Wow. You not even for a visit.
No, I have no plans. I don't really have any close ties with anybody from there anymore, and I'm not really close with any of my family either. So I'm happy
Okay.
here, and it's one of those situations where it's like people don't want to visit me, and I certainly don't want to visit them. So it's mutual.
I'm from Ontario originally. I come out. Wow, we went out to BC first. I think we were 19 or 20, and I've been with my wife since high school. So we came out 19 or 20. We went to BC, made it to Banff. Then we moved to Saskatoon. Oh, I almost went to Edmonton there. We moved to Saskatoon. We were there for a couple of years. Started working in the oil field. Then we went to Edmonton for 6 years. Then we went back to Ontario for a little bit.
Oh my
And then
goodness.
now we're in Calgary. And, that was how I got my wife back to Alberta because, I wanted it to be my family to be closer again. And it was like, hey, well, Alberta? She's like, immediately. I thought it was going to be a fight. She's like, Calgary. I'm like, done. Now, by her idea, it was her idea. I didn't bring it up. We're moving back to Edmonton because it's just
Moving back to
closer to home, right?
Edmonton.
Yeah, we've been in Calgary almost 2 years now, and it's time. It's time to go back to Edmonton where I'm closer to work and I can be home in 2 hours and not six.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
Yeah,
2 hours.
absolutely, it is.
2 hours is super easy. Six, it's more of a struggle, but 2 hours, she could even come visit you if she wanted to. That's way
Yeah,
easier.
and in the summertime, we even in being in Calgary, I travel around a lot in the summertime. Like I leave the patch in the summer and I go work on a road crew. I make more
Okay.
money in 3 or 4 months on the road crew than I do the rest of the year here. Right? I love it. and it helps with taxes actually. Like I didn't have to pay, because they take all my EI and CPP here, and then I go to the road. They take all my EI and CPP there, and then I come back here and they take more. So like come tax time, I'm just like reeling it in, right? And it's great, whatever. But like during the downturn, I had to do that, right? It slowed
Mhm.
down in the summer a little bit. I went over on the road crew. I built something there. I became something. I started as a laborer, worked my way up. I'm equipment operator, right? So
Mhm.
that happened during the downturn, and now that the patch is busy again, I don't have to go back there, but I
Are
like
you
to.
going to
You
though?
know, yeah, I'm going back. I can't not, right? I can't not go. I built, like I said, I built something there. I became a laborer. I started off as a
Mhm.
laborer, and I became a equipment operator, and I'm one of the senior guys on the crew, and I make good money there, and it's great. And another big reason for it too is my wife travels around with me a lot on the road when I'm on the road crew because we're all over the place. And last year was the first summer that I'd got to see them in a long time because of the pandemic. 6 months in at a time, less than a week home. I was
Mhm.
spent 20 days at home in 2 years. Right, it was not good.
20 days in
So
2 years.
it was stupid. I know. I mental health, right? Mental health's a big thing, and that it was fucking with me hard during that
Yes.
2 years. Right, I didn't know what I wanted. Right, I didn't know where I was going, how it was happening. Right,
So
so
with
yeah.
those 2 years, did you work so much because you were worried about not being able to work again? Or were you working so much because you loved it, or a little bit of both? Like where were you at with doing like 6 months in at a time?
So I saw a TikTok the other day that perfectly summed it up. And he's like, he's sweeping the floor, and it's like some guy saying to him, "I wish I had the amount of energy you had to work all the time like you do." And he sits down, and he's sitting in a corner. It gets all dark. He's like, "No, you don't," right? And it's not that he had the energy; it's the mental health was getting to him. That's all he knew, right? He was just
Yeah.
working himself to death, just a workaholic. I worked that much because of my situation at home. It wasn't with my wife or my kids or anything like that. We were staying with her parents for a little while,
Mhm.
and it was where home was supposed to be your place of zen, your place of happiness. I was
It
made
was
to
more
feel
like,
like I wasn't welcome, right?
yeah, a place of
and
chaos
and it's hard.
almost.
Yeah, a place of
Mhm.
chaos. It was just it was hard. So I stayed away as much as I could, and I went home for my kids and my wife and their birthdays, Christmas, the major holidays. I'd go for it, but other than that, I stayed away, and I thought, like that was the best thing I could do for everybody, but really it wasn't, right? And it was hard. It was really hard, and so yeah, back to the road. It was the first summer in a long time where I had my family in the same province as me and I could see them a lot more. So, I was on the road for 4 months. I think they spent 2.5, closer to 3 with me, right? In my
That's
hotel room.
amazing.
So
That
not all
probably
at once. They
kick-started a better feeling with you and a better like relationship with work and being away too.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. I talked about this last week on last week's episode that I wasn't sure where I fit in the industry anymore. I didn't know if I liked it. I didn't know if I wanted to be there. I didn't
Mhm.
know where I fit in it, and if I was falling out of love with it, basically, right? And after I got closer to my wife and got out of my own head, and TikTok was a big part of that too, right? Like getting closer to other oil field workers, not just in Alberta, but all over the
Mhm.
world, right? Bridging that gap a little bit. Um, I fell back in love with the industry. You know what I mean? It was like, damn, like this is where I belong. This is me. You know what I mean? And yeah, it was great.
Good. You kind of like you found your footing almost.
It was hard. It was hard. It was
Yes.
hard, but I went down a long, dark tunnel. It was a dark journey, and
Mhm.
when you're in the deepest, darkest pits of hell, right? You learn a lot about yourself,
Yeah,
right?
and when
And
you're so far
yeah,
down and you're in that deep dark, only you can pull yourself up. Like only
hundred
you.
percent,
No matter
hundred
how
percent.
many people try to help you, no matter how many people send you those words of encouragement or those affirmations, it doesn't fucking mean anything. Their
Nope.
words don't mean anything to you if you're
Nope.
feeling so low. It comes to a point where you got to dive deep within yourself and you got to pull yourself out of that. Like only you can
Yep.
do it at that point.
I discovered a lot about myself when I was down there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my childhood trauma, big part of the reason why I work the way I do and why I talk the way I do, why I joke
Mm-hmm.
around how I joke around, and it plays a huge part in that. And I discovered that while I was in this hole, in this funk, right? Thinking like,
Mm-hmm.
my childhood trauma doesn't play a part in my mental health. What the hell? No, it fucking does, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can run from it all you want. It runs faster. So it took a while, but like I said, you learn a lot about yourself when you're down there, and I discovered some things I did not like, right? And there was two ways here. I could continue that way, or I can make that climb. So I didn't tell my wife, I didn't tell anybody, and then I finally did tell my wife, and after I had made that climb, and her just being there, not even her knowing, just her being there, and having my kids and stuff like that. That was the safety rope, I guess, if
Mm-hmm.
you want the lifeline.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Your,
it was.
your sense of
I
comfort with them.
never.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I never got to the point where I felt like I didn't belong on. I didn't want to live anymore. I never ever got that. It would never go that way. Like I
Mm-hmm.
don't. I can't say I'd never get that way because I don't know if there's anything in the world that could make me feel that way, right? Maybe there is, but like at that point, and where I'm at now, I don't ever foresee me being like, hey, I don't want to live anymore. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
and shout out to the people that do feel that way, that do talk about it, because that takes a lot to talk about it. You got some big cojones to to talk about how you're feeling that way. So
Mm-hmm. You know that TikTok sound that's going around where it's like people get so depressed they can't brush their teeth. And it's like people get so depressed they kill themselves. I feel like people don't quite realize how bad things can get. But it's good that like there's a sense of community, especially like on TikTok and like loved ones where like there's the stigma has almost lifted when it comes to mental health and people feel open about talking about it. People are can relate a lot more. And I feel like
absolutely.
almost everybody in the world probably has a sprinkle of depression. Nobody is constantly on a
Oh,
high, right?
everybody's got something going on, right?
Everybody
Everybody,
got something, and once you realize that, and like
everybody.
you can kind of look around and be like, we're all a little bit fucked up. It's a little bit warming to know that
We're all in this shit together, right?
we
And
are.
and, and everyone's got to realize, especially in the oil field, you know what I mean? We talk about it all the time. The camaraderie is like no
Mhm,
other in the oil field. The person next to you is feeling the exact same shit you are. You're both missing home. You both
mhm,
want a home cooked meal. You're both cold. You're both wet. You both just are tired.
mhm,
Everyone's tired, right? You're all going through the same shit together, and it's like a trauma bond. You're
mhm.
you're in it together. You know what I mean? And that's huge. And the fact that in the oil field we can talk about it a lot more now is huge too. You know what I mean?
And also to be part of the oil field and part of these sometimes really shitty jobs, you kind of have to be a little bit fucked up. Like when I first, like my very first day on a rig, I'm looking around and I'm like, why the fuck do people do this? This looks miserable. And it was miserable. I spent 18 hours on a rig floor. It was minus 52. At this point, I spent more money on my Naked Ladies yellow hard hat than I did on my boots. So that tells you
Oh,
how cold my feet were. And the entire
yeah.
time, everyone's like laughing and having fun. And I'm like, why the fuck are you guys all having a good time? This is miserable. And then I realized we're all just a little bit fucked up to keep doing it and keep doing it. And like I've
Yeah.
grown to love the patch. I love going out there. I love working with a great crew. But very first day on a rig, I was like, this is the most miserable task I have ever done. This
Yeah.
sucks. And I'm like
Yeah.
looking and I'm like, everything could kill me. Things are coming up, things are moving, everything's heavy. And I'm like, this is why child labor exists. Maybe don't put that in. But I was at the point, I was like thinking of like, no wonder child labor exists because you can give them a couple of dollars and they'll be happy to do it. I'm like, why are we doing this? this sucks.
We are the children. They're giving
We
us
we
our
are the
version of a
children.
couple dollars, right? They're giving
Yeah.
us our version of a couple dollars. And yeah, and we're all laughing and having a good time because, like I
Mhm,
said, we're all in this shit together. We realize it's
mhm,
shit. And I love those comments that on TikTok videos where it's like, "Oh, you're a slave to your master," and the Oilfield, yada yada yada. Like they don't know, but yeah, they're not wrong. We know the situation, but
mhm.
hey, at the same time, I'm a pretty well-paid slave. My kids are fed, clothed. They've got all the toys in the world they want. They're in a nice house. You know what I mean? Driving
Mhm.
around in a car. Fuck it, I don't care. Hey, if that makes me a slave, whip me.
So be
Let's
it.
go.
Right?
Right?
Like the amount of
Right.
times I hear where people like your employment's taking advantage of you because I'll work 30 hours straight on a rig floor spinning pipe. Like I don't get relief. It's 30 hours straight, no sleep. People are like,
Yep.
they're taking advantage of you. Why don't you stick up for yourself? They can't overwork you for over 16 hours. And I'm just thinking, all I'm thinking the entire time is dollar signs,
Yeah.
dollar
We
signs.
are not the same.
I'm not thinking
Yep.
of like little like sleeping little sheep, counting sheep. I don't care about my sleep if I'm getting paid.
Yep. Exactly. And like the most amount of hours I put in on the end of a vac hose or a wash one was just over 40 and
Yeah.
straight, just going. And people are like, how do you do that? Honestly, there comes a point in time where you're so tired, you're not tired anymore. You know what I mean? And you know
Oh,
what? I'll sleep.
that is a
Every day
feeling.
ends. Every day ends, and that's how I get through it. Right? Every day eventually ends. This one is no different. It will end, and when it does, I'm
Mhm.
having the best nap ever. Right? I'm gonna have a. I can crawl up in the truck on the way back. I'm gonna sleep on the way back. When I get back
Yeah,
to camp, I'm gonna sleep more. Right?
exactly.
And there was a stretch last winter. Me and my coworker here, he was green as green can be, and my boss wanted to know. We got back from a really hard shift. My boss wanted to know if he was gonna make it, and I'm like, listen, bud, if he doesn't quit after tonight, he ain't going nowhere. And he's still here. He's actually quitting, but he found himself a
He's
girl. He's
actually,
from he's from he's
oh,
from
he fell in
PEI.
love.
He fell in love. He's from
Oh,
PEI. They grew up so fast. He's only 20. And
okay.
his mom is only a couple years older than me. This is brutal. And she's good looking too, right? Like, hey, Gail, I know you're
That's a MILF.
listening. Yeah, no. So we spent 40 something hours on site and it's minus 53 or something like that. It did not feel good.
No.
And that was actually the start of what we like to call hell month because in our words, everyone had taken time off at the same time. And those that didn't, most of them were on projects away. There was only a
Mhm.
couple of us left here in Fox.
So you're just
And
getting overworked. You're just
oh yeah.
going job to job to
So
job, job.
so overworked was there's only 168 hours in a 7-day period. We worked 170 of them,
Oh, I believe it.
and we did that for like 3 weeks straight.
Hmm.
That was hell on earth. But at the end of it, we came out right.
And
It
you feel
was
good. You feel good. Like you get to a point where it's like you're so busy where you just want to keep going because you want to see how big your check can get. Like that's my goal. I'm like, I've been working for 4 days straight. I'm going rig to rig to rig. I'm surviving off of no sleep. But how
yeah
big can my paycheck get? How hard can I go? How much can I make this month? And every month I want to beat the last month.
yeah. Well, you own your own company, do you not?
So I'm an independent contractor. So it's like a tax purposes. So like I can go to like any casing company and work for them. I'm just a body to use pretty much.
Yeah.
Um, so it's good because I can always pick up the phone and be like, hey, you need an extra hand. And usually like if I'm in a slow period, I can easily pick up work, which is really nice.
That is good. That is really good. So um I was gonna ask. I don't know if I can or not, but what's the biggest paycheck you've ever seen so far in the year and a half?
My biggest paycheck for me personally was, well, I guess, well, for contractors, we only get paid a month. So my personal biggest month has been 30.
30K.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I
Good
was
for
happy with
you.
that. My husband makes way more than me. Good for him. But because he's a Tom hand, so him and I work together a lot of the times. Right now, we're at two separate companies because we
Yeah.
started going into the process where we were always working together, which was amazing because we loved spending time together, and we could bang out way more jobs because I would drive to location and he would sleep. And on the way back, he would drive and I would sleep. So we would be able to get a little bit more sleep that way. We would be able to drive a lot more, do a lot more jobs. But then we fell into this routine where we started feeling like coworkers. I was talking to him and I'd be like, hey, bud, hey, bro, pass me this. Because, like, on a rig, I'm not going to be like, hey, babe, can you please pass me a wrench? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be like, throw me a wrench or something. Like,
Yeah.
bro, pass me something. So, like, outside of work, we fell into this period of like, oh my God, we feel like coworkers. There's no zest in our life anymore. We're gross, we're disgusting. We're spending all our time in a truck for months, like 6 months on end. We were just spending all our time in a truck working together, calling each other bro. We're like, we need to take a step back and go to two separate companies. So that's
Yeah.
what we're doing right now. And it's made things a lot better.
That's good. That's good. And you guys, absence makes the heart grow fonder, right? So
It's true.
it's true. It is. People are like, "Oh, don't you miss your wife? Don't you? Doesn't she miss you?" Yada yada yada. Of course she does, and of course I do. But when I get
Mhm.
home, I bet you, I get more action in the 1 week that I'm off than you
More
get most of
quality
the
time.
year, right?
Yeah, way more
Yeah,
quality
yeah,
time. It's like you really
yeah.
enjoy your time together when you're not down each other's necks 24/7.
Yeah, and same goes with the kids and stuff. Everyone makes that comment, you're abandoning your children, yada yada. You don't get much time with them. I'm like, man, you don't understand. I have 7 straight days of uninterrupted attention with my kids from the time they wake up to the time they go to bed.
Mhm.
Right? If I worked in town and in order to afford life right now, I would have to be gone, before they get up, and
Mhm.
I'd be gone all day. And when I got home, they'd either
And
just be
for
going to bed or already
yeah,
asleep, right?
exactly. You're not
So,
wrong.
yeah, and that's not good either. I'd be miserable all the time. This way here, I go home and I have 7 straight days, right? And I know my kids very well. Yeah,
Good.
yeah.
I was talking to some guys at the rig, and I was like, "How pregnant? Like, if I were to get pregnant, which I have no plans anytime soon to have kids, but I was like, how far along would I be before you guys not let me on the rig floor? Like how pregnant would I be before you guys are like, you can't be up here? And I don't really know if anybody's ran into this situation yet, but you know how your phones listen to you?
Yep.
Ever since I had that conversation, guess what's popping up? FR coveralls for pregnant ladies.
Shut up. There you go.
So
Hey, there's a merch idea for you if you ever go down that route.
I feel like it would be a very, very small market. Not that many women are needing FR coveralls when they're 9 months pregnant.
No, that's
Like,
fair.
if anything, I'd probably just get size 45s because I wear size 36 coveralls. Like they're like itty bitty. So I would just like put myself in a super suit.
Yeah. Yeah. Your boyfriend, you're saying, is he your fiance or your boyfriend?
My
What's going
husband,
on?
we're
Your
married.
husband, you're
We're
married.
married.
Wow.
Oh,
How
I
long you been married
know.
for?
Almost a year now. We got married in Indonesia last year,
Well,
June
congratulations. Oh,
11th.
that's why you're going back to Indonesia? Is this
We
like
just
your
we
honeymoon
love it.
trip?
We love it there. And honestly, the reason why we love it so much is one, the people are just like any Southeast Asian people are the happiest people alive.
Oh
Like
yeah. Oh, I
Filipinos,
love Filipinos.
we love Filipinos.
Oh, I
Balinese
love them.
people, like Indonesians, are just like Filipinos. They're amazing, tiny little people, and they're just happy to be alive. But you go there, and your money stretches so
Yep.
far. Like you
Yep.
can live like a king on nothing.
Yep. I've heard that a
Like
lot, and I have a friend who works for Air Canada who took fuck, what was that? He took like 6 months off, and he
mhm.
only had to pay the taxes on the flight to get there. So he paid like $60, and he took 10 grand with him for 6 months, and he still had money left when he came
Oh, I believe
back.
it. I believe it. Like your money, like you can ball out. There's things if you want to really spend money, you can. But if you
Yeah.
don't, your money can stretch so far. And it's weird going from one country where a lot of these people don't have a lot of things. They're not materialistic. They don't have this massive consumerism idea that's pushed upon us. So it's like I'll go travel to these areas and I'm like, when I get back to Canada, I don't need anything. I don't need anything to be happy. And then I'll be home for like 2 hours. I'm like, you know what? I need a touch screen toaster. Like, you know what I should do? I should shop on Amazon. And it's like constant packages at my door. But then when I'm traveling, I was like, you know what? I'll be happy with a yoga mat and some pants. And that's it. I can live like that. No, I fucking can't. I love things. I love stuff.
So speaking of Amazon packages and getting back and whatnot, your husband is essentially the woman in your house.
Oh my God, please don't get me started. It's insane. It's insanity. Like everything. So every single day, there's a package at our door, but there's like 10 packages and they're really expensive packaging. And I'm like, Jordan, what did you order? Oh, I don't know what I ordered. How do you not know? And the reason why he doesn't know is because he keeps buying things and he loses track of everything.
Hey, you know what? A guy works hard for his money. You know what I
He
mean? And
does.
and and
He
he's got
does.
a yeah. Is he from Alberta originally?
Born and raised in Nanaimo on the island.
Nanaimo. Damn. So
Yeah.
he's from BC. You're just a Nova Scotian kid, and he's a British
Mm-hmm.
Columbian kid, and
Coast
you
to
know,
coast.
yeah. Wow. So have you been in you're in GP, right?
Yes, I am.
So you been in GP the entire time you've been in Alberta, or where did you start off in Alberta?
No, so I started off in High River, which is like,
Ooh,
oh, I know, and it smells so bad there because they have a cargo plant, and I think I
yeah.
don't. Do they burn the carcasses of animals?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Probably.
I think they do. Actually, funny little story. I posted a TikTok video about these carcasses because I was told, especially with the cargo plant nearby where I live, that what they do is they take the animal carcasses and they grind them up. And then they take that ground up powder or whatever and they disperse it along the road for traction in the wintertime. And that's why the snow is pink. No, that's not what happens. It's beet juice. Nobody grinds up carcasses and puts it on the road. But I confidently told all of TikTok that, and people were coming at me for it. But in the moment, I thought it was a great idea. Anyways, I started in High River, and then I met Jordan in Calgary, and then we moved to Kelowna, and then we
Oh,
moved here.
K Town.
Kelowna. I used to love Kelowna until like I moved downtown Kelowna, and there was the unhoused constantly on my doorstep. And I woke up one morning and somebody built their little shelter literally right on my doorstep and decided to take their human feces and throw it across my house. And it was covered.
Ah, jeez, that's
Yeah.
gross.
No,
That
it's
would make me fall
awful.
out of love with the city too.
Yeah, so it's overpriced, it's too expensive, and there's way too many crackheads to even want to deal with. So I'm actually surprisingly really happy with Grand Prairie. Like I'd
That's
rather
good.
Grand
Hey,
Prairie over Kelowna.
Grand Prairie is where I got my start in the oil patch. Actually, I love GP.
It's where
Shout out
dreams
to
come
GP.
true.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, I stayed at the Westgate Inn, I think, for a little while. The one that's attached to Diamonds. It wasn't Diamonds back then; it was
Fancy,
Showgirls. But
fancy.
yeah, it's one of those hotels that anything you want, you look out in the parking lot and it's there.
Have you heard of what's it called? Red Diamond, I think it is. So it's
Red Diamond.
the camp in
Yes.
Warwan, owned by the Russians,
I've heard of
and
it. Yeah.
anything you want, you can get there.
Well, most camps you can get whatever you want in, right?
It's
And it just costs a little bit more,
Yeah,
right?
I guess you like order hot towels to your room and you get a Russian prostitute. Which I mean, like, honestly, I feel like that would
What?
keep the guys better with work. Loosen them up a bit, whatever.
Holy shit. Oh boy.
Oh, wow.
So there was I stayed when I was in Fort Mac actually. There was camp. I stayed at Lighthouse at Husky Sunrise. and there was a Craigslist page for this camp, and there was
Craigslist.
room 231. I'm pretty sure I'll never forget it. And so I was told about it, and I had to go look it up. So and I've told everybody. My brother-in-law does nothing about the oil field, but knows about room 231 in this camp. And it was a bunch of dudes getting together, and they're like, "Hey, you guys lonely and want to hang out with other dudes that are also lonely? Like, they're not gay. They just want to be in the same room and jerk off while
like
they're
a circle jerk.
they don't want to jerk each other off. They just want to sit in the same room while they jerk themselves
Like
off.
do you know what Dutch rudder is?
Yeah, like
Maybe like that.
yeah, right. And hey, this isn't even the weirdest conversation I've had on this podcast. You should listen to the Dougie Snakes podcast. We talked about jerking off at work, and that was like a whole thing. That was like an 8-minute long conversation.
Oh
Workloads.
wow. Ew, workloads. Don't say that.
Yeah, it was a workload, all right.
That's
But
funny.
no, room 231, and it was a Craigslist page, and you go in there, be like, hey, I'll leave the door open, just slide on in, the lights are off, sit down somewhere if you can find a spot, and just start going to town. I'll be in there already ahead of you, right? And I thought about it once. I'm like, you know what, like, I've been here for a month. Why not? Right. And
Why
then I'm
not?
like, no. And the only thing that stopped me, besides my wife, the only thing that stopped me was like, man, what if this is a trap? And like, so then,
Like a sting?
like a sting, right? And I'm like, no, I
Imagine
would
if you
never
got
do
thrown
that
in jail for like soliciting gay sex
in camp. Jeez.
in camp. God, what an embarrassing way to go.
At that camp, actually. So that was interesting. There was this woman. Oh boy, there's
Oh
this
God.
woman who got sent to town on a bus. She had herpes, right? And on this bus with her were like the 7 or 8 other dudes who she gave herpes to.
Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring.
God, that's so funny. In Mexico.
But also, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I want to hear the Mexico story.
Oh my God. So
okay, all right. Okay, you go ahead.
Okay. No, you go. No, you go. No, you go. Oh my God. Okay, ladies first, so you might as well go first.
Whoa, I do have the smallest arms in the room, so. The HR lady. The HR lady, she got caught in the parking lot one day with one of the guys at night. It was late at night. She got caught in the parking lot with one of the warehouse guys. Nobody could figure out how the warehouse guys made more money than anyone else, right? They're like, what the fuck? Right? Why do these guys keep getting raises? Why are they making more hours on their check? They're only here for 12. Why are they getting 14s, right? Right? So, they got caught out in the parking lot one night, and she's giving them blowies in the parking lot, right? And I think Buddy was actually like trying to film it or something like that, and the light from his camera gave him away, and she lost her job.
So
they lost their job too.
She was giving them raises?
She was giving them more hours. Yeah.
More hours. So she was paying them for blow jobs that she was giving.
Pretty much. Like there was no give. There was no a lot of take on the guy's part and no give.
Yeah, it doesn't seem very beneficial to her part.
Yeah, maybe she just like penis in her mouth. Who knows?
Ew.
Oh shit. So Mexico story now. Let's get to that.
Mexico. Well, you mentioned that, you just leave the door open on some of these rooms. So I was in Miami and Jordan, my husband, was in Mexico, and I get a call from Jordan, and poor guy's crying. He's crying. He's like, I was just attacked. And he's crying. And I'm like, and he's a big boy, right? And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Right? I was like, are you okay? He's like, no, I left my door open and a Mexican tranny walked into his hotel room and like crawled up on the bed. And Jordan's like, I was so frozen in the moment. Like, I understand how women sometimes can't fight back. He's like, I was so frozen in the moment because this giant tranny was coming towards me. And he's like, oh, I could hardly scream. And he's like, eventually he's like, vroom, 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 vroom. And the person ended up leaving, right? And I'm like, but why did you have the door open? And little background, we have 5 cats, right? We love cats. He's like, I was trying to lure a kitty cat into my room, so I made a trail of food into my hotel room.
Oh, he got one big cat for sure.
He got one big pussy.
He got one big pussy. Was it a pussy though?
No.
It had a tail, just on the wrong side.
Meow.
Meow. That's awesome. Fuck yeah. Oh shit. How did you get started on TikTok?
So I started making a TikTok for a fitness account.
Makes sense.
Yeah, started doing TikTok on a fitness account. And then one day I think I filmed like one TikTok on a rig and it instantly blew up. And I was like,
Yep.
maybe me filming TikToks on a rig is my calling. And
Yep.
honestly, like a lot of my comment sections, it's actually getting a lot better, but usually it's pretty brutal. Like usually,
I know. I read them.
okay,
Oh,
usually it's
I've read
pretty
them.
brutal, but it's craziness because TikTok, like online, does not translate to real life. Like if you were to read my comment section, especially if it's a woman who wants to join the patch and they look in my comment section, they're probably thinking I'm never fucking doing a blue collar job the way that this lady's being treated. But those are online people that just type and have nothing else to do with their lives. But if you're actually in the field, people are nothing but nice. People are nothing but respectful. People are so helpful. I've only ever really had like one shitty experience, but that's like neither here nor there. Like all my experiences have been nothing but good. People are just so patient and kind. And honestly, like I'm all for like equality and everything, but any guy sees a girl carrying something right away, let me carry that for you. And I have to tell them, like, man, if you start carrying my stuff and people see you carrying my stuff, I'm gonna look like a little bitch. So please let me carry my own stuff. But people are so
Yeah.
eager to help.
Yeah, and you know what? I hear that a lot from a lot of women on the in on in from the oil field. The ones that work here. Like yeah, back in the day, there was some issues. You know what I mean? There was like a lot of gross shit being said, and you know what I mean. And it took a long time, I think, for people to learn. Hey, they're here, man. You know what? You gotta treat them like you would treat your brother on site.
Like a human.
Exactly, and a lot the medics have it the worst. You know what I
Oh
mean?
my God. Like if you ever go on medic TikTok, it's disgusting. It's
I love the
gross what people,
medics.
I love the medics. I don't know. People are so mean to them.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
bro, they're just doing a job like all of us.
I poke fun at everything. Like
Yeah.
I go after the safety guy, I go after water haulers, I go after medics, but they all know I'm joking, right?
Yeah.
They all know like, hey, that's just Dick and he's playing around. I'm just sharing my experience. Like, I made a video in December or November, and it was like, do you want me to? Am I seducing you? Right? And do you want me to seduce you? And the seducing you, I brought up my ticket book, right? And it's like,
That's
I'm,
funny.
like it
Yeah.
wasn't me seducing you. It was me like, hey, look at this. And all the medics were like, oh my god, the alphabetical order. They're all in this beautiful book. They look so good. There's a lot of them, right? And all the and I'm like, yeah, I love you guys. I love medics. You know what I mean? And there's a joke, I made that TikTok one time where it's like when I see the new guy going to shoot his shot with the medic, right? And it's like, go little rock star, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but like, like it's not what's happening, right? He's just talking.
No.
We're all
Like,
lonely. We're all talking to everybody. Hell, I'll talk to a dude medic the same way I talk to a female medic. It
mhm,
doesn't matter.
mhm. And
Yeah.
like a lot of situation too, like a lot of people are cracking jokes, like even if it's in person and you're cracking jokes, and sometimes like you get most jokes, I'm sorry, most funny jokes are a little bit inappropriate. We can all agree with
Yeah.
that. Most jokes are a little bit inappropriate. So like
So it makes them
if
funny.
exactly, like you find that funny and uncomfortable shit. Um, there's a lot of like if you're a woman who can't handle some jokes or getting a little vulgar, and I'm not talking about putting somebody down and being misogynistic or whatever, but you have to learn how to take a joke and you have to learn how to banter and roll with one. If you're somebody, especially a woman who can't carry conversation like that, then you might feel really uncomfortable in a lot of situations.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, it's not necessarily pointed towards you. We're not degrading you. We're making a joke that might be like inappropriate, but it's going to happen everywhere in the patch, these inappropriate jokes.
Yeah. My favorite person on this app, I think, not my favorite person on the app, but one of my favorite women in the oil field, especially in Alberta, is Mud Sloot, right? Like
I
she,
love her.
oh, yeah, she's great. So she was on another podcast that I was a part of a few months back. And she's amazing. And she sends me video ideas all the time.
I love that.
And yeah, she'll be like, hey, what about this? She just ordered a bunch of merch off me too. We gotta get that out to her. But Mud Sloot, she doesn't take shit. She doesn't
No.
take shit.
And did you see
Yeah.
that one lady that was putting her down for wearing makeup and stuff? Like it's
Oh
a
yeah.
her biggest topic is like, how do you work with those nails? Shut up. If the lady can
The
get the job,
nails.
the nails. Bro,
Yeah.
these like people, I swear people lie awake at night and think of Mud Sloot's nails. They're like her nails.
They
How does
haunt
she
their
get
dreams.
yeah, literally.
Yeah.
And like and it's so upsetting when I see other women comment on any other women's stuff, especially in like these blue collar jobs where there's very few of us. It is
Yeah.
so rare to see another woman in the patch. Like we don't really
I love it.
exist. It's
Every time
wonderful
I
to
see one,
see, but I
every
hate
time I see one, I smile. A piece of me just brightens up. Like hell yeah.
yeah, exactly. And it's like it's crazy. I go to like a comment section and it's like other women in the patch putting women down. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I don't know if they're
Yeah.
trying to feel validated for other from other men, but other men don't even put us down. So
No.
it's weird to me.
Um.
We all just gotta love
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah, there was a medic, not a medic. She's not a medic. She's a tester, a well tester.
Hmm.
That she's on TikTok too. You might know her, Emma Brigden. Well testing, and she's got this butterfly tattoo on her face and
On a
a
face.
piercing. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
She's badass. Like you wouldn't know she's a chick. You know what I mean? She is one, but like the way she talks and carries on, it's just like, all right, you wanna go there? And like
Yeah.
I'll take my filter out, we'll go there, right?
Mm.
And it comes out and she's just like, oh shit. I told her the other day when I was on site, I'm like, I can't wait till I go home next week. I'm gonna give my wife the minivan. She's like, the minivan? I'm like, yeah, 2 in the front, 5 in the back, right? And she just starts laughing. She loved it. She thought it was hilarious. And I thought it was weird to see a female tester. Turns
Yeah.
out her whole most of her crew are women.
What? How do I not know
Yeah.
these ladies exist?
Oh,
Oh
Emma
my
Brigden's
god.
all over. Yeah, she's awesome.
That's
I like
amazing.
Emma.
I gotta look her up. What's her TikTok handle?
Emma Brigden.
Emma
Yeah,
Brigden. Okay,
yeah. I'll send her one of your. I'll send you one of her videos when we
do
get
it.
off here.
I need to get on Emma Brigden. I need to get
Um,
on her.
Funny how I met Emma. I won't actually go into the details of how I met Emma, but like it was in the hotel room next to mine.
Did you hear? Did
Not
she hear you crying at night? Is that why?
Oh, I heard the sounds, and it wasn't crying.
Oh boy.
And knock on the door. I was cheering them on. I'm like, yeah, you guys go, right? I made it really awkward. And then you hear the
Oh my
laughing, and
god.
then doors opened up, and Dick Frost. I'm like, yo,
That's so funny. What a
shit.
great encounter.
Fucking awesome encounter. It was funny the way it happened. And so we were talking about it the other day actually. And we weren't really talking about that, but it ended up going there. And we were talking about the person and she's like, "Yeah, he was really nice to me." I'm like, "Yeah, I heard." I heard how nice he was.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Shit. Do you want to plug your socials before we go any further, just in case, just where can we find you? Where can
You can
where
find
can
me
we find you?
Torque Girl on TikTok. I don't really use Instagram. Don't even bother finding me on there.
Oh man, okay, so even if
Like I have Instagram. I just like it's it's not very interesting.
how many followers do you have right now on TikTok?
On TikTok, I think I have like almost 75,000.
Yeah, you grew quick.
I did grow quick.
You grew really quick. So my suggestion, I don't know how far you want to take the social media thing. I don't know what you're in it for. If you want to maybe get some sponsors, I don't know where you want to go with it. Start an Instagram account for Torque Girl.
You
Post
think
your
I
post
should?
your
Like just for Torque
Oh
Girl?
yeah. Oh, 100%, 100%, and a Facebook account. Start a Facebook
See,
page
I
for
was
it too,
looking
right?
into Facebook, but like, okay,
Yeah.
so I had this idea. You know how, tell me if it's bad or not. You let me know if this idea fucking sucks, okay? Um, I was thinking I wanted, you know how there's Facebook accounts where people like, oh, like Drillers Club,
Yep.
where people just pretty much like repost other people's videos or whatnot, or you get good chats. I kind of want to do one specifically for like women in the patch, and like repost like other women in the patch, like their videos, and just have like a patch, like
Do it.
pussy in the patch. Or I don't want to call it that because
Do it. No,
people,
call it no snatch in the patch.
that's actually
You can't
funny.
do that. You can't do that. It's Karina's thing. She's got stickers and shirts and everything. I don't know if you know
Okay,
who
I can't.
Karina is,
I don't.
but Karina,
Okay.
oh my god, she's got like a couple 100,000 followers,
No
and
way.
I think she's a pipeliner or welder. She's a
Good for
pipelining
her.
welder. Yeah, she's good shit. She's funny. She's kind of taking a break from the app right now. I was talking to her about it
Mm.
about a month ago, but she's taking a little bit of a break. But she's funny. She's funny shit. But no snatch in the patch is her thing. But you could definitely, that's not a stupid idea at all. Definitely get into
Okay, thank
doing
you.
something like that and like do it. I'd do it soon before the podcast comes out, because once people hear it, they're gonna be like, oh my god, that's a
I'm
good
gonna
idea.
do that.
Right?
How long does
No,
it
you
take for
should.
you to edit these and whatnot? It's like when do you usually put them up? Do you have like a certain
So
day that you always like put out a podcast?
every Tuesday.
Every
Every Tuesday I
Tuesday.
put one out.
Every single
So
Tuesday?
far ahead right now. Yeah, every single Tuesday.
Oh, awesome.
I'm so far ahead right now. This won't come out till like the second week of May.
Okay.
But
Good
yeah,
to know.
yeah, and I don't really do any editing because like I'm not a professional guy, right? You know what I mean? Like, plus I like I like the natural conversation. If there's an
Yeah.
interruption, it happened. It's life. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
This is a real life thing. There's not like, I'm not gonna edit it down and make it look perfect. Because there's nothing perfect, right? So. And people are like, oh, you're just lazy. Well, no, it's not. I did edit one. I did edit one, and the one that I edited, uh, it fucked up. I fucked it up even more. So like, it was like, I'm gonna leave it. But yeah, I throw it out every Tuesday. Once in a while, I'll throw a bonus episode. I think once a month, I'm gonna start throwing out a bonus episode. I
Mhm.
have a friend from back home who's in a band called April, and so I don't know if you know who Ed the Sock is.
Is that
Talking
he's a
hand puppet.
comedian, isn't he?
Ed the Sock was a like sock puppet from Much Music back in like the late '90s, early 2000s. He had the green hair. He interviewed. Anyway, he was on this Tuesday. Yesterday. His episode dropped yesterday. So this Saturday, I'm gonna drop a bonus episode with my buddy who's in a band called April, and it's no
Nice.
better way to start April than talking about that.
In
And
April.
so yeah, exactly. So, they go up every Tuesday, and, sometimes I live stream them. So like, you
Mhm.
get comments, people will come in and they can watch it live, and there's comment section, and you can get like live feedback from it, and they ask questions and shit like that. The video for that goes up right away because, it's live streams to YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. So they put them up,
Uh-huh.
and the audio comes out later. Right. So I've live streamed 3 episodes now,
Mhm.
and yeah, I'm trying to get into doing maybe live streaming one a month, but I'll do that after these catch up. I think I'm gonna record a couple more and then take
Mhm.
a break until it catches up a little bit. So
Do you find it draining to do like all this social media? Like eventually, like at some points you're like,
absolutely,
yeah, it's a lot of
oh yeah.
work.
Yeah, but I started it and I'm here now, right?
Yeah,
So
you
a lot
are.
of people ask, like, how do you work over 100 hours a week? Watch content, make content,
Hmm.
answer all the comment sections back, post not only the content on TikTok, move it over to Instagram, Facebook, Clapper, YouTube.
Clapper. What's
Uh,
Clapper?
it's a cheap knockoff version of TikTok. It's mostly bots. You don't
Oh,
get very many views. You don't get any comments and no likes really for the most
oh,
part. But it's another
wonderful.
place. Yeah, it is what it is. But it's another place. So, um, and then on top of that, sleep, talking to your family, yada yada
Hmm.
yada. Going live, I live stream a lot, so it's on TikTok and Instagram. But like I'll sleep when I die. Whatever it is, what
Yeah.
it is. Um,
Do your kids get
yeah,
in, do your kids get embarrassed that you do all of this, or do they think you're cool?
no, my daughters are 5 and 3, so they don't really.
Okay, they're still not right into
Yeah,
it yet.
yeah. My oldest daughter, loves watching my TikToks. Though she's like,
Really?
can we watch your videos? Like, yeah,
Oh,
let's do it. And
that's
then
cute.
and then yeah, they like being in them too, right? So like when I go home, they're like, can we make a video? I was like, yeah, let's do it. My wife started her own TikTok page. Well, yeah, she started making content like this past year. And so she does a daily thing where this is my toddler's lunch for today or
I
snack for
like
school.
that. Yeah.
And so my daughter's been helping her with those, and she goes, "This is my toddler's lunch for today." And then my wife goes off about it, and people love it. Like
A little
everyone that
influencer.
watches. Oh yeah, no, she's cute. She's very funny, and when I want her to do something like so how the podcast On the Throne with Dick, it started on my main TikTok account because I got two TikTok accounts. This is my backup, which is kind of sort of my main now because it's a lot bigger than my
Okay.
main is. Um, so I started On the Throne with Dick, where I sit on the toilet with and I interview other creators while we're both pooping.
Okay. Well, Bobby,
And
I would have loved to poop right now. What the fuck, man? We could have set this
well,
up.
you'll have to come on the 1 minute version of On the Throne with Dick.
Okay.
Right. So yeah. So why I started. So I had that, and it did well. I think I'm like 25 episodes into that or something like that. And
That's good.
it started off as me, and looking back at the first like 3 episodes, they were cheesy, right? And
Mhm.
it started off with me, just talking about backsplash and how Poseidon's kiss is like having a shower, right? And if you really think about it, and then I went and met a couple TikTokers for the first time, and then it started. Hey, let me interview you while we're doing this. So then it became a huge thing where I just asked different random TikTokers like, hey man, you want to be on the throne? Hell yeah. They do it. The views aren't the greatest, but I mean, like,
It's
I
still
don't care. It's
fun. It's
fun.
fun
It's
regardless. Yeah.
fun. I had Chris Barber, the organizer of the Freedom Convoy. He was on my on the throne with me there, and he was episode 3 of the podcast. So that was kind of cool. And so yeah, yeah, and when I was a part of the other podcast and it kind of went the way of the dinosaur, I wanted to start another podcast and just have it be mine. And so I did, and I was kind of trying to think of a name. Like, man, what do I call this thing? And then I'm like, On the Throne with Dick, obviously, because it's
Duh.
my show, right? And then oh my god, On the Throne with Dick. And so it is. It's here.
I love it. I'm glad to be. Am I on the throne right now? Is this part of? Is this the throne?
This is, yeah, we're on the throne. This isn't, we're
I
not the
love it.
toilet or anything, but like
Okay.
we're on the throne.
I love
Yeah,
it.
it's great. Well, I will. We can organize you being on the throne,
Oh,
like on
do
the toilet one.
do I have to do it whilst pooping? Like,
That's up to you.
do
That's
I
up to you.
have to?
I don't see anything from here down. So like what you're doing in the background, as long as you show the toilet at the start, or it's very clear that you're in a bathroom, we're
Do you
good.
think could I put my ferns like behind the toilet like this? I could line up my ferns on the toilet.
You do whatever you want.
Okay, I'm gonna get right
Hell
into this.
yeah.
I'm gonna bedazzle the fucking toilet.
Oh my god, do it. The grossest toilet I've ever had the pleasure of interviewing someone on was actually episode 4 with Dave the Upcycler. Don't know if you know him or not, but we're really good friends on here. And he was the second person I actually interviewed on it. And it was in his shop at his house, and his toilet is in a state. Let me tell you, it made for an amazing video. Let me tell you that. And he had to sit in his bathtub because we both found the toilet too disgusting. And that was just part of it. Oh, it was bad. It was very bad.
Is he just doing like a contest with himself to see how bad the toilet can get?
Probably. That seems like a very Dave thing to do. If
what
you don't
Dave
follow
thing?
the upcycler, what a Dave thing
what
to
a
do.
Dave thing. See, I
this
already
guy
know him
makes,
so well already.
This guy makes things out of spoons, forks, knives. Like he made a cool dragon and he welds everything together. And you got to follow the upcycler, because if you don't, you're missing out on prime content on TikTok.
Can he bend spoons with like his mind? Or no,
maybe,
that's not part of it.
He could probably. Oh my
we should ask. We should figure this out. Let's get to the bottom of this, because maybe Dave has a secret talent that we don't know about.
Dave's live on TikTok 24/7. This is his job. So like he's live right now. Like, you know what I mean? When we're done here, I'm gonna go ask him.
Yeah, tell him to fucking bend some spoons with his mind. Like you know exactly what I'm talking about. You used to stare at it.
Magneto.
Yeah.
Magneto. Of course. X-Men.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, how did you get into torquing, and why did you choose that side of the oil patch? Like, why didn't you just be like, hey, I'm going to be a medic? Hey, not that medic's a girl thing, but why didn't you say, hey, I'm going to be a safety officer? Why not a welder? Why not, a wellhead technician? Why torque? Why
this? Yeah. So my husband, he moved up here. He was, I think, 12 years as like a rig hand. He was a derrick hand. He did all the positions, obviously, whatever. And then he moved to Grand Prairie from Kelowna to start back on the rigs. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to try running tongs. And then he started getting into tongs, and he realized all the computer hands are ladies. And he's like, you know what? Like, this is something that I'm seeing all women do, or like a lot of women do. You should do it. And right away, I was like, there's no fucking way I'm going out to the middle of nowhere to be screamed at by men. It's not happening. I don't want to do it. I don't want to get bullied. Right. And he's like, no, like, it's not like that. Like, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. So I said, fuck it. So I made a few calls. Like, after that one conversation, I made a few calls. And within 4 hours, I got a job. I just called casing companies. I said, look, I'm a lady who is a bartender right now. I just want to make a career change. I pretty much just gave him the cold, hard, honest truth. I said, I've never swung a hammer before, but I want to go to work, and I'm fine with the hours. I don't need to be on rotation. I just gave him the rundown, and I got hired within, I think, my second phone call.
Good for you.
Yeah. 2 weeks later, I packed up my house and I moved to Grand Prairie. And then I've been going hard at it ever since. And it's like the best decision I've made, because before I was bartending, and obviously with the pandemic, my money never bounced back. Obviously, I had moments where I was making great money mixing fucking drinks. I did the bottle service. I made drinks. Before that, I was in the film industry for 6 years. And that was so that was super inconsistent. So I was always bartending. I was always serving. And just my money never came back after the pandemic. And I was like, I need to figure something else out. And that something can't involve school. I'm not going to say I'm stupid, but I am not book smart. I cannot sit down. I cannot do school. It's not for me. So I was like, what can I figure out? What can I do to make money without having to do school? So here I am. The Patch. It's a great place for people, without an education that want to make a lot of fucking money.
Well, and be careful how you say that, though, right? Because like a place where people don't need an education, I have met some of the smartest people I've ever talked to in my entire life in the oilfield. Right?
100%.
Oh yeah.
And like, you don't need to be like book smart. Book smart and sitting down and having an education are like two completely different things. Like there's so many confusing things, especially like working on a rig. There's so much math involved and like certain like chemicals and shit. There's things that you would never like even know was a thing. Like before I went to the rigs, I thought like honestly, people were fucking rude. People were mean. People were gonna scream at me. And I thought it was dumb idiot criminals that just kind of like put things together. Right. I didn't know. But that's kind of the perception that gets put out online is that like they're drug addicts, they're criminals, like all these guys. But in reality, a lot of people are really fucking smart and are family men, are put
Yep.
together. You know what I'm saying? It's not what a lot of people think it is. It's actually very different than what I was expecting. And thank God, because if it was what I was expecting, I don't know if I could survive it.
Yeah, no, and 100%. Like you said, a lot of us are family men, right? A lot of us are just there trying to put food on the table,
Mm-hmm.
right? And let's be honest, that rude mentality you're talking about too, right? Like, it might come off as rude and crass, but like if someone's saying something to you like that, they're just fucking with you, right?
Oh,
And
exactly.
you know, I have a boss who, I never know if he's mad or if he's joking, right? And like, there's only one way to find out half the time, right? And it's like,
Yeah.
just keep poking, poke
Mm-hmm.
that bear, right? You'll know when he's mad, but like for the most part, no, they're just fucking with you.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And that's just like going back to like, you just got to be able to hold banter and have a fun time. Like, nobody's really there to
Yep.
fucking. And the patch has changed. Obviously, I wasn't in the patch like 10 years ago, but like I've heard people used to, if you had beef with somebody, you fist fought and then you got over it. Obviously, you don't do that anymore. Maybe you do. But I've never.
Not on site. Maybe on
Yeah,
site
no.
once in a while, but you left that
Yeah.
shit away from the hotel and camp, right?
Yeah.
I had a guy try to settle some beef with me out on site one time back in the day. We made a bet that he couldn't go more than 2 days without smoking, and he did it, and I
Oh, two
didn't.
days.
Yeah, all 2 days, and because he was
Jeez.
like a chain smoker, right? Oh, for him it was. He was a chain smoker, and I can't remember what the bet was, but I think there was a monetary value involved, and I didn't pay up, right? And so it was
You
like, oh
cheap
shit.
fuck.
So like, oh no, 100%. I was like, man, I'm not paying you because you're making better health decisions. Come on, and we didn't shake on it, right?
Yeah.
So so he was mad at me for a couple of days, and we were working, and he must have told some of the other guys he was gonna come and get me or whatever, because like I got surrounded by two of the bigger dudes, and they're just like, hey, whatever happens here, bro, like we got you. I'm like, what do you mean? And he comes rolling down,
What do you mean?
right? And he like swung me a little bit. I had a water bottle in my hand. And he's like, that's your water bottle? And he grabs my water and he's like, it's my water bottle now. I was like, okay. Right? Like, I don't care. So I take off, I was wearing my backpack. So I took my backpack off. I reached in my bag and grabbed another water bottle and opened it to start drinking.
It's like
Like,
the
take
never
it,
ending
man.
backpack.
Oh yeah, no, it's like, man, like, stop it, right? Just stop. And then I worked with two brothers who they settled their shit anywhere they could, right? And Buddy was this big monstrous, like, he was definitely over 6'4", 6'5". He was probably like 300 pounds, and it wasn't fat. He was a big dude, right? And his brother was like my height and like stockier, maybe a little taller, and they were drinking one night, and we're all just hanging out, and they're drinking, and it was his brother's birthday, the big fella's birthday, and the little guy said something to his brother, and it was funny, but like he was drunk. He just like whack, right, and he's like, oh, what did you do that for? Right? I'm like, dude, if that guy hit me like that, I'd be out cold right now. This guy's
On the
very
ground.
clearly taken hits from his brother in the past, just
Yeah.
like that. He's bleeding, like his head is bleeding, and he's just like, I don't know what I did to deserve that, right? And it's like, shit, man, I'd be dead. Like, he would have clobbered the shit out of me. And that's when I learned, around the crew, like, there are some guys that can handle their drink and some guys that can't handle their drink. And
Mm-hmm.
when that shit happens, I stay quiet, which is rare for me. So
Yeah.
I'm an easy target when I get talking. So
Just step back and observe.
well, there's people that stir the pot and are pests, and then they'll like
Mm-hmm.
step back and let other people have their shit
Is
with
that you?
it. Or that's me. right? I'm the short guy. I'm like 5'4", right? So like I'm the short guy. No one wants to hit a short guy,
Are you
right?
five
I will.
four?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
you look 6 foot when you're sitting down.
Really?
No.
Nice. Oh. So, yeah, no, I like to stir the pot, right? I like to be I'm a shit disturber. I'm a pest. And like I own that. I know how to use my words and I know what bothers people. I'm not like that as much anymore. But like back in when I was in my 20s, man, oh boy, I could piss some people off. I knew how to piss people off and I had fun with it.
And you did a good job at it, I bet.
Oh, oh man, if I got paid to do that, I'd be very wealthy.
There you go. Maybe that's your new
Hell
way
yeah.
out. That's your new way out of the patch.
I don't know if I want out. Not right now,
No, you don't think
anyways.
so?
Not right now. Maybe in a couple more years. Like the end of this boom, right? At
The
the end of
end of
this
this
little
boom.
boom.
And then what? What do you think? Obviously, no plans yet, but like, let's say boom happens in 5 years, then what?
I'll cross that bridge when I
When
get
I
to
get
it, I
to it,
guess.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair.
Right now, I'm having a lot of fun on social
Good.
media. I've
Smart.
monetized many aspects of what I do. So, Facebook, I've monetized on Facebook. So I make
Mhm.
money there and, lots of sponsors. I got the Heat Waves, those glasses I'm always wearing,
Nice.
Yeah, my own merch line. So, you know what I mean? Like I'm I've got my hand in different pots and stuff, right? I'm trying to diversify. What? I can't hear you. No. Uh, it sounded like
Oh.
something was moving. Oh, there you are.
Okay. I didn't
I
hear
can I can
anything you
hear you.
just said. Like you were just,
Oh, okay. So no,
yeah.
I was
It
saying like
went
I
weird.
got I'm trying to diversify a bit, right? Like
Mhm.
merch and sponsorship deals and monetizing on the apps and stuff like that. So, I'm trying to do that and, maybe one day, I don't know if it'll ever be enough to just totally walk away, but at least make it so, I'll work in town and
Yeah,
I can still
exactly.
do this. You know,
Mhm. At least be
there I've thought
home.
of ways. Yeah, I thought of
Yeah.
ways where I could still not work and do the content full time. But like that would just make me out to be like a fraud, right? Because like I was thinking, I could go home and I can make content 3-4 days a week. I could go find a pump jack or a rig somewhere in my area, just get there, start making content left, right, center, go sit at
Yeah.
home and just post, right? But that's not me. I'd rather just do the work.
Mhm.
Absolutely. So where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Hopefully not in Canada. I don't, I'm at the point now where
Ooh,
all the, I know everything's just so expensive. And it's just like me and Jordan, like my husband, we would love to move to Indonesia if we can. So Jordan, he went and spent way too much fucking money on all this camera gear. So we really want to get into like doing YouTube and like travel vlogging. And if we can make money online and live somewhere where you only
absolutely,
need $3,000 to live great, then why the fuck not? Like I'm here
absolutely.
and I walk outside and my face hurts from the cold. Why the fuck do I live somewhere where my face hurts? I don't want to
Well,
do it anymore. Like it's
because there's
not
something in Indonesia. It might not make the air might not hurt your face, but there might be some bugs or animals that want to kill you.
not even though they have like big cities, right? Like if you're in the city, there's no bugs. There's I don't think there's really a mosquito issue either. Like up here, there's skeeters everywhere. And you know what I discovered? What are those things called? They're like this big. They're like pine beetles.
Yeah, yeah, pine beetles.
I didn't know that existed until I moved to Alberta. They're I don't think they're a thing in Nova Scotia. The only thing we really have to worry about in Nova Scotia is obviously mosquitoes and June bugs.
I'm from Ontario, where the only thing we have to worry about is liberals.
I'm pretty sure, unfortunately, we have to worry about that in all of Canada.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh shit. I love that. So Indonesia, like you guys really love it there. Hey, like you want to
We
move
do.
there. And you
I
guys
want to
have a
live there.
transferable trade that you can take anywhere there's an oil patch, right? Anywhere where they deal
There's
with oil and gas.
Well, I work on a lot of Petronas sites, and
Yeah.
Petronas is based out of Malaysia, and they have a
Yep.
lot of rigs over there. So I don't know. Maybe I
A
could
lot
go
of
to
offshore too.
Malaysia. Yeah.
A lot of offshore in Malaysia. Shout out to Malaysia, actually. Guy on Facebook has been messaging me a lot lately, and he's from Grand Prairie actually, but he works on a platform out in Malaysia.
Mhm.
And telling me he gave me some good ideas for merch, and I was like blown away. We had a really good conversation, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm out in Malaysia on an oil platform," and he's like, "Man, I turned all the guys on the platform onto your content
That's
and
awesome.
onto your podcast." And I
Yeah.
was like, "Man, that is so cool, man! Thank you so much." And like I love it. I love it. This whole thing has been just more than I could ever ask for. Like today, you've got way more followers than I have, and well, 30,000 more, and you grew quick, right? But like I've noticed I'm having, especially the last couple months, I'm having a fast like I'm really hitting the FYP right now, and
That's
I'm growing real
awesome.
quick. Yeah, I hit 40,000 there. Shit, back in late August.
Mhm.
And I just hit 60. I'm about 61 now, and most of those, like 20,000 of them, have come in the last few months now.
That's amazing. See,
Last 2 months.
the thing about TikTok is like all you need is like one or two like videos to really hit it, and then everyone
Yeah,
just flocks to you.
yeah, yep.
Hmm.
What's your favorite video? What's your favorite video that you've done? And not
That
because
I've
of the views and likes, but just one that you personally like enjoyed doing and take
um
pride in.
I don't really know. I've never really thought about that. I like any video where I'm actually showing me working, which is actually hard for me to film at work. But any
Yeah,
sequence events where I can show like a day of me doing my job, I quite like because I never really get the opportunity to actually film my job start to finish. And I can't really ever film on the rig, but I need to start figuring out how to secretly do it because anytime I film, realistically, anytime I film like with the rig anywhere near me, my views quadruple.
well, look at your video you posted yesterday, 100,000
Exactly.
views, right?
Exactly. And
Yeah,
that's just me doing like my job start to finish, like just for a simple casing wash. But it's like I
yep.
get so many views. Whereas like if I post a gym video, which I'm really passionate about, I would love to post more fitness stuff, but nobody fucking cares. Nobody cares. You really, it's like TikTok's the same, you have to cater to your audience.
Yeah, you really do. Once you're in a niche, you're in a niche, right? And
Yeah,
that's
that's
just
it. Like
right, right.
I try to like branch out. Actually, one of my favorite videos is one me making cookies. And the reason why I love that video so much is because I took so much fucking time and it took me so long to make that video. And like even me going out and buying the supplies and like trying to figure out my angles in the kitchen and even like cleaning my kitchen so it looks like presentable like on camera. I really like that video. Me cooking
Well,
cookies.
one of my favorites is actually one of the On the Throne with Dicks on my main account.
Hmm.
I got my daughter on there about a year and a half ago, and we
Hmm.
call it On the Throne with Dad. And
Oh,
like I
that's
just
cute.
interview her a little bit, and yeah, she did really good actually, and I can't wait to get my youngest daughter on there to do it. We're thinking she's probably about there.
Almost there.
Yeah, she's. I think she's there. She's got a mouth on her. She says, "Oh, oh my god," she says some things, and I love it. I think it's funny, but like, I can't film her saying it because the people on here probably would have a lot to say.
They'll probably call CPS.
Oh my god, probably.
But you know that's adorable because when you have all these videos like with you have two daughters, is it?
Yeah, I got two.
When,
Yep.
yeah, when you have all these videos with $2 and you can literally watch them grow up in these videos, you know?
Yeah. Oh, I
Yeah.
have. It's been. Ooh, this has been 2.5 years now that I've been going
Hmm.
at it, right? So, ooh, we're close. We're coming in on this summer. Will be 3,
I
right?
need
So
to. My phone is dying, so either we need to go bad audio so I can plug you. I'm at 6. I didn't plan.
6.
I'm at
All right.
6. I know. I can plug my phone in, but then I'm dealing with bad audio.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I got one more question for you, and then
Okay.
we'll wrap it
Okay.
up. And
Okay.
and
Sure.
hey, maybe we'll have to get you on another time, anyways. Maybe get Mud Sloot on because Mud Sloot says she'll come on. My wife wants to be on that one. My wife and Mud Sloot
Perfect.
love each other, right? So,
Good.
um, I always end the podcast by asking people this question. Mount Rushmore has the four most influential people in American history up there, right?
Nope.
So, well, back then, you know what I mean.
Back then,
So,
sure.
who's on your Mount Rushmore? What four people influenced you the most, and or do you inspire to be, and why?
Four people? Oh my goodness. See, this is a difficult one because like I don't necessarily look up to like any celebrities. And then it's a little bit harder because I don't really have like a lot of family in my life to look up to. So this is like a difficult question for me. I
Hey,
don't
hey, it's supposed to be difficult. It's supposed to make people think and put them on the spot, right? You wouldn't believe the kind of answers I've gotten out of it. It's kind of cool actually.
get some
Could
like
be
funny.
anybody.
Yeah,
Yeah, some
I
funny ones,
honestly
some really
like
good ones.
yeah. I honestly like sincerely right now I have no idea. Like if I were to think of like somebody I could truly look up to or like aspire to be, like I have no idea. Especially since like before I would be able to like say like a politician, like somebody like Candace Owens or something like that. But lately, these people are going crazy as well. You know, like people know honestly, people where it's like I would look up to like certain politicians and like really like like what they say and aspire to have like a voice like that. These people are also losing their fucking marbles.
They sure are.
They are, and then they're starting to say things that also I'm like, what the fuck are you going on about? You know? So like I guess I don't know, man.
Nobody, eh?
Nobody. I can honestly say that. Like nobody. There's nobody like in my life or somebody I know that I'm like, I want to be that. I kind of want to like be the person that like I want to be when I'm older. Cause like I'm still finding myself. Like I hope someday I get to have kids and I can be their inspiration, you know?
Dude, that is something. You aspire to be yourself one day.
Yeah, like honestly, like and like every day I'm still finding myself. Even with this career, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing probably even 6 months ago. And every day I'm learning more and more, especially more about myself and like testing my limits, especially with my job and my hours and like what I put up with and like testing myself and see what I can handle and like what I can do. And even like coming onto this, like becoming like a content creator or an influencer, seeing how far I can take this, you know, see
Yep.
how well people perceive me, and then like going back and be like, okay, this didn't do well. We got to change this, you know?
Absolutely. That's an answer in itself. You know what I mean? Like you aspire to be you. And
Mm-hmm.
that's incredible, right? Like you don't understand the power that holds.
Mm-hmm.
Good for you.
Who's your Mount Rushmore?
Oh, I've been asked this a lot
A
lately.
lot.
And
Is it always
so this
changing or has it been the same for lately?
it, well, it's changed a bit since it started, right?
Mm-hmm.
But only because, my life changes, right? So my dad was never on the Mount Rushmore, but my dad's up there, but not for reasons that you would think. My dad's on there as a beacon of who I aspire not to be.
Oh, okay. That's
Right?
interesting.
Someone that, I worked really hard to move my path in a different direction,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then there's my nana. I didn't meet her until I was 23. My dad was adopted at birth, and my nana and him met 50 years later for the first
Oh my
time. And
God.
yeah, so I didn't get to meet her, and she's an incredibly powerful woman. Who she was supposed to be dead a couple times already. She's in a really bad car accident. Apparently, they killed her a couple times on the table. She survived a really nasty bout of cancer in the 70s or something
Holy
like that.
shit. This
And
woman just won't
yes,
go. That's
she
good
just won't
for
die,
her.
right? And
Good
and
for
right now,
her.
two Christmases ago, she had two strokes back to back, and like she's mentally like in her mind, like she's just not there. really, for the
Mm,
most part.
mhm.
And now, but she's still kicking. She's still
She's still
feisty.
kicking it.
She's still feisty. She's still fighting, right? But she just doesn't know. She struggles to remember things. And
Mhm,
because I didn't know her until 10 years ago, I am not part of her short term memory. So
mhm,
like I used to call her all the time. One time I was working in Saskatchewan. She lived in Winnipeg. I had a couple days off. I drove 5 hours round, 5 hours each way just to hang out with her for an hour. I took her out for lunch. We got some ice
mhm,
cream. She showed me around her apartment, and then I left. And like so, that it's tough. It's really hard because I to her she doesn't know who I am,
mhm.
right? And it's okay. I gotta be cool with that, right? Because I don't blame her. It's not her fault. It's just life.
Mhm.
So she's up there. That's number two, and then my
Two,
kids and my wife.
of course.
My wife is one of the strongest women I know. I admire the fuck out of her. She's kind. She's super kind. She's super smart. Great work ethic on her. An amazing cook, and I couldn't ask for a better mother for my kids. So
That's so lovely to hear. That's like refreshing to hear. I love when people talk up about their spouse. And I hear that honestly a lot in the patch. Like if I'm talking to like a driller, he will go on about his wife and kids.
yeah,
He'll go
yeah.
on. Like it's really nice to see people aren't bashing their significant other. People are really uplifting each other. And I love to see that. And I love to hear it. I feel like it's this rhetoric, especially with men, where you're like, oh, my old bag or something like that. But like
Yeah.
lately, I've noticed a lot of people, especially if you're working away from home, there's just so much more like love and respect, and like you ooze
Oh,
it.
I can't wait. I can feel her right now. I got 5 more days. I can feel her and
Almost
smell her.
there. You're almost there.
I feel her on my hands, and I can smell her and taste her. And I'm just like,
Oh,
oh, she's
interesting.
right there. She's right there. Yeah. Yeah, I can taste that home cooking, and I can't wait.
Good. That's exciting. I hope you have a
Absolutely.
really great. How long are you going for days off?
I'm going for a week. So it's over Easter. I think we're going to Montana. We're going down to
That'll be
Montana for,
that'll be
yeah.
nice. Get
Yeah, it
some
was
good
either that or
barbecue in.
Spokane. Oh, yeah. Either that or Spokane. Um,
Washington.
yeah, we do lots of road trips. Before we had kids, we did lots of road trips.
Mhm.
We road trip from Edmonton to Seattle. We've been Edmonton to Salt Lake City, North Dakota, all over Montana. Just road tripping our way through life.
Do you guys do like a lot of camping when you do that, or like back of the truck or whatever? Or do you just usually do like hotels and motels on the way?
My wife, you couldn't get her to camp for the
No,
life
okay,
of her. So
okay.
my wife is part black. She's Nigerian. Yeah, well, she's the whitest black girl you'll ever meet in your life, though. Like, couldn't tell. But
Mhm.
black people do not like to camp.
But what they make up for in lack of white people camping, they crush it in the kitchen.
Oh shit! No kidding. My wife's grandma. Oh my god! Like
She
that woman
throws
is
it down.
black, like
Yeah.
through and through black. Soul food, jerk chicken, Caribbean chicken, you name it. This woman cooks amazing food. My wife got her cooking skills from her mom and
Mhm.
her grandma. Her mom's white, but her whatever, it doesn't matter. But my wife is an amazing cook. And when we have get-togethers, family get-togethers, they refuse to anyone else do the cooking except for her.
Mhm.
My wife has to cook.
Oh, you're probably
Are you there? Oh, can you
so
hear me?
spoiled. Hello? Oh, my phone's
I don't think
probably
you can hear
dying.
me. Did I lose you
Oh,
again?
I think my phone's
Did I lose you?
I think my phone's about to go. Okay, no, I'm still at
Can you hear
5%.
me?
Hello. Hello.
I don't
Hello.
think she can hear me. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hi.
Hi, I can hear you.
Can she see me? Am I freezing for her?
No, I like everything's working for me.
Oh, Oh,
Oh,
all right. Can you hear me? Can you hear
yeah.
me?
Yeah.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Hello. Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
You can hear me now?
I've been hearing you.
Nice. What's going on? How are
I
you?
don't. Good. How are you? I think my phone's about to die. I think that's why things are starting to get
Technology, man. It's
a little
crazy.
freaky.
Can you hear me now?
I've been hearing you.
All right. Well, I think. Oh, can you hear me?
I hear you,
I love
bro.
this. I love it.
Oh
This
my
makes.
gosh.
I love this part.
It's wonderful because I can hear you just fine.
You can hear me. You're back.
I've been hearing you. I've never not heard you.
There's the delay. All right. Well, yeah, probably. All right. Well, we'll cut this off here.
Okay.
We'll cut this off here. It's been a lot of fun, and thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
It's so far behind. Shit, dude. That's awesome. I can hear you just fine.
I can hear you just fine. I've never not been able to hear you.
Oh, she's getting it way later than what I'm saying.
Oh my
This
goodness.
is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Let's listen to her catch up on what I was saying.
I'm just hearing it's
Yeah,
a lot
thanks,
of.
thanks for
Oh
coming.
my. Oh my god.
See you
This
later.
is so. Okay, bye.
This has been another episode of On the Throne with Dick. And hey, you might not be able to hear this just yet, but Torque Girl, you stay frosty. Yeah. Okay. Stay frosty. Bye. Oh, shit.
Oh.